Hey everyone, welcome back to my weekly tarot reading. I'm going to be doing the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. Divine Masculine's the top half here. Divine Feminine's actually two cards ended up coming out for both. This simply is the physical, this is the mental, this is the emotional, this is the spiritual, and this is what to work on for both the parties. I'm going to be doing this every week. I decided not to continue to the water, earth, fire and air elements, considering I just think it's a little bit too much workload for me. So I'm simply just going to be doing 2 videos a week, which includes this one, which is the weekly reading, as well as an energy report. And therefore it kind of covers everything, and I think people are more interested in that as well. So please let me know if this interests you and whether you still want me to continue this. As I said, I'd really love any feedback or anyone to really reach out and we could start some sort of community. And yeah, so this is, I'm going to get straight into it. Okay, so Divine Masculines, let's start with him or she. So the physical aspect, Divine Masculines, a lot are in union. Also, I feel like a lot is starting to love themselves and starting to realize the connection that they do have with the Divine Feminines. I think a lot of masculines are finally having that realization that in physical form that they are a twin flame and that they are, you know, their Divine Feminine is someone special to them, and that they're not asleep anymore or not in denial about the whole connection. The masculines are really starting to work on themselves and really starting to work on the love and really having realizations of what this dynamic is, even though it's so undescribable a lot of the times. So that's the physical aspect of the Divine Masculines. This is the mental state. So the masculines are doing a lot of reflection in terms of within their past. I think that they're doing a lot of reflections of the way they've treated the Divine Feminines as well as their life. I think they're just doing a lot of, you know, they're trying to understand the way they were back, you know, in the past. I think they're doing a lot of past recalling, and they're simply acknowledging the judgment they did have towards their Divine Feminine, but also to themselves. I think they're really starting to work on not judging themselves and also releasing any doubt that they have on themselves. I think they're really starting to make good ideas and good ways to work on their issues, or ways that they can work on themselves without any judgment. So they're really trying not to judge and really coming into a brighter light for their mental state. The emotional side. Emotionally, they're pretty good. I think they're finally balanced. I think they're really starting to find love within themselves and really starting to appreciate how far they've come emotionally. I think emotionally they're very content, they're very happy, they're quite proud of themselves of how they handle situations better. I think through this judgment within their mental state, emotionally they're starting to deal with their emotions very differently, and I think that's a really good thing, and I think they're doing really well in terms of that. So yeah. Spiritually, they're doing a lot of heart work. They're really working on their self-love. They're really listening to their heart. That's what I really feel. I think they're finally starting to listen to what their heart is telling them. And through that it's just healing. So I think they're doing a lot of heart healing. They're doing a lot of listening as well. So spiritually they're really starting to listen to themselves and really allow their heart to guide them into the correct direction. So what can they do this week? Got partnership and environment. I think this week they must to really really connect with their divine feminine. I think a lot of them are in union, and I think just really focusing on the spiritual connections that they have, even though, you know, masculines aren't fully, you know, full spiritual the way the feminines are. And I think this week they're told to really tap into that spiritual aspect within what they have, and I think through going out into nature, really connecting to the environment is some way that's going to really help them feel grounded and really help them understand, you know, their purpose and their role that they have with the divine feminine, because it is sometimes can be a real like messy dynamic if you aren't aware of what this dynamic is. So they're really starting to accept and really starting to ground themselves. So yeah. Okay, so now the divine feminines. We've got a couple of cards for each. The physical side, I think a lot of divine feminines are really trying to figure out what way they're meant to be going. I think they have the choice of which direction they want, whether it's for the divine masculine or whether they just don't want to focus on that this week, or next week, sorry. I think there's going to be a lot of choice and decision making of where they want to go. Some divine feminines is going to focus on the masculine. Some just simply want to focus on themselves physically, and if that means, you know, doing things, you know, doing your career or focusing on home or just doing something that's not so focused on the journey, then that's what some of them will decide to do, and others will really start making decisions on how they can be in union and how they can work towards the connection that they miss and that they strive for. So it's a bit up in the air. I think some are going to go for the union and really start focusing on the physical aspect. There's also some that's going to have a bit of a break, and with all this energy that's happening lately, some just think it's too much, and you know what, that's okay. Like, not, you know, we don't need to strive for this twin flame collection like every single week. Some weeks we need a time off and we need some time to ourselves, and that's okay. The mental state. Justice and Four of Wands. So the mental, I think we're starting to step into truth. We're starting to realize our truth. I also feel like there's a lot of positive thinking. I think a lot of feminines are really starting to make positive choices and really sticking to truth, whether it's with the divine masculine or whether it's following their life purpose, which is technically twin flames, but in terms of career and stuff. I think there's a lot of positivity coming up, and there's a lot of excitement that's going to be coming for the divine feminines. I think mentally they're trying to find themselves, and through that they're trying to seek truth and find balance within themselves. So mentally, I think that's a really important thing to do at the moment, considering that, as I said before, the energies are really hectic. So really just mentally remaining positive and really sticking to truth is very important. Emotionally, the Hermit and the Four of Cups. So emotionally, I think a lot of divine feminines are still trying to work on the love in themselves. I think a lot has been neglecting the self-love, and let's be real, twin flame connections are all about self-love. I think a lot must look within, and it's just so important. Like, it's just what we need in this connection. If we're not working on our self-love or acceptance or self-worth, then how are we going to manifest that, and how are we going to be with someone who loves us completely? I think we've been really putting it on the back burner. We haven't really been sticking to that. So this week it's all about looking within and really not ignoring the signs of working on our self-love and working on our emotional state. Sometimes we can be up and down, and sometimes we're in denial of what's in front of us, and we really just can't do that anymore. We really need to bring that to the surface and really look after that. So that's what we need to do this week on our emotional side. Spiritual side, 2 of Wands and 3 of Cups. Okay, so I feel like there's 2 sides to this. The first is some divine feminines can be, let's say, I feel denial. I think a lot are denying and putting their spiritual aspect of themselves on the back burner and not really looking at it or addressing any issues that are coming up. And then we've got on the other side, a lot are really doing well and a lot are really, you know, really proud and really starting to step into their spiritual aspect. But as I said, there's a lot that still isn't awake and still is not living their living and balancing their spiritual aspect of themselves. A lot are still in that denial 3D mindset, and we really must tap into our spiritual practices. It's so important, and we must also honor how far we've come and not put pressure that we have to, you know, be a complete zen. You know, if we feel like we're putting it on the side, well, then we must address it again. And don't feel bad if you feel like you're behind, because no one's ever behind, because this is your journey and this is something that you came in this earth time, you came in a different phase to everyone else. You're in a different journey to everyone else, even though collectively we are sort of all moving in the same direction. But don't compare yourself to other spiritual people out there, and really just embrace how far you've come and really just work on that. The final card is self-love. That's what we need to be working on, divine feminines. Love has come up. The masculines are in love and they're really, really striving for that, and we've realized that we still need to work on that, and that's okay. As I said, there's a lot of balance. The masculines are starting to step into their truth. They're starting to realize, you know, what they need and, you know, where they need to go, and then realizing the divine feminine. And now we've kind of like, we've fallen behind, but it's kind of like we've done all this work that now we need to do more work, and the masculines are taking upon the work we've done for them as well. So really working on self-love, guys. Love is very important this week. Really grounding ourselves. Please check in my energy report, because it says a lot about the current energies, but this is what we need to be working on this week. Next week we'll see what we get, but hopefully you guys like this. Please like and subscribe, and if you need a reading, please comment below. All the information's there. Sending guys so much love.